Hello, my name is Mackenzie Squires and I'm a student here at Western Carolina University. I'm studying music education through the percussion studio in the School of Music. I'm a second-year percussionist, which means that I'm learning how to play drum set, concert snare, mallets, and timpani, along with all the accessory instruments for studio class. Outside of percussion studio and the concert world, I'm also a proud member of the marching band here at Western. In the marching band, I'm in the front ensemble and I play marimba. For music majors, a 1 hour credit course does not mean that you just have 1 hour worth of work like it might for other majors. It means that you have 1 hour during class time to use to perfect your instrument and to learn as a group. Now, that means individually you have to put in 2 to 3 hours worth of work in order to become a better musician. Now, studio class is a 2 hour credit class, so I take lessons for an hour and I have studio class for an hour. Now, that means that I have around 3 hours every day that I'm required to practice for those classes. I'm also a member of percussion ensemble, which meets 2 or 3 times a week to work on pieces with just percussionists. So we work on our pieces, and that's a 1 hour credit course. Now with that comes even more practice time. In the School of Music, we have 4 percussion practice rooms, 2 downstairs and 2 upstairs. But that's not enough for 23 people, plus non-percussion music majors entering those rooms and playing percussion instruments. There's not enough room for us to do that successfully. So you're forced to play outside of your rooms. Like here's drummer row, as I've affectionately termed the catafalque. Here's a shot of me playing in my room on a practice pad, or drumming on the floor, or practicing piano in my room. Like I said earlier, the professor of percussion requires us to practice 3 hours a day on our main instrument, on the timpani, snare, mallets, and drum set. Now with all these ensembles, all the music that's required for us to learn, you would think that that'd be really easy to accomplish, but there's other music classes to prepare for. Other classes such as piano, woodwind methods, brass methods, string methods, percussion methods, guitar methods, as well as music theory and aural skills. Now, each of these classes require various amounts of practice. Piano and aural skills require 30 minutes to an hour each. Music theory takes as long as it takes to learn the concept that we're working on. Woodwind methods, brass methods, percussion methods, and string methods all take various amounts of time to prepare. If you're feeling more comfortable with an instrument, you might practice it less. If you're feeling less comfortable, you practice it more, as you would with anything that you're learning. So on top of the 3 hours that I have to practice every day, I have a little over 2 hours a day worth of other music class things to practice, plus the front ensemble marching band rehearsal. So it adds up to be around 7 hours of practicing various instruments throughout the day. That's an insane amount of stuff to practice, an insane amount of time to practice every day, 7 hours every day. And I'm very honest with myself and my instructors when they ask about it, about the fact that most days I'm only to practice all the instruments for about 2 hours a day. And that's really on the good days. On the bad days, I might not practice at all. If we assumed that practicing, studying, going to classes, sleeping, and eating was all that I did my entire life, I still wouldn't be able to accomplish these 7 hours worth of practicing in one day. If I was able to, my mental health would go down the drain. and that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this project. As a freshman, I would skip meals and not hang out with my friends or do any activities outside of practicing, but I was never happy and didn't feel as though I was getting better at any of the instruments, which is why you're practicing, to get better at your instrument. But I kept forcing myself to practice and to skip meals so that I would get better, thinking that if I just got through it and put in the effort and went in for the long haul, that I would become a better musician. But all that changed when a guest artist came to Western and gave the studio ideas on how to spread out our practicing and how to structure our time in the room so that the practice was actually productive. This helped my mental health and my playing ability tremendously. And it worked for a couple months, but then I got out of the routine and eventually it stopped working. Finally, the light bulb went off and I realized that something had to change if I wanted to improve my playing ability and, most importantly, my mental health. I decided I must make time for the things that I enjoyed other than studying and practicing. Because I enjoy practicing and I enjoy the benefits of practicing and I enjoy learning and studying and getting better and gaining more knowledge. But I realized I must make time for other things if I wanted to be a better musician. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you shouldn't be practicing. I still think you should be practicing, and I still practice. Now, not nearly as much as I probably should, but I've gotten better and become a happier person overall when I stopped cramming and practicing non-stop, skipping meals, and hanging out with my friends. Some of the things that I enjoy doing is listening to music while sitting outside. There's an amazing thing that happens when you go outside and you just sit quietly and listen to music. Now you say, okay, well that has to do with practicing and that's still music related, and you're right, it is still music related. But there's something calming about listening to music and not thinking about the theory behind it or the chords, the piano or the singing, just listening, not paying attention to what's actually being sung and sitting outside. I also enjoy hiking and exploring the great outdoors, something you can't see while you're stuck in a practice room. I enjoy reading books and doing research on local history and learning new things just for fun. I've learned that I enjoy photography and videography and trying new things since I've stopped forcing myself just to practice. But most importantly, I've done new and exciting things with my friends, as well as old and boring things that we enjoy. I no longer skip meals because my friends and I grab lunch and dinner together most days. I experienced camping for the very first time and can't wait to do it again because my friends decided we were going to go camping instead of cramming and doing homework over the weekend. Without practicing and playing my instrument, I would not be the musician I am today. But I've come to realize that there are other things that are just as important as practicing. Without music, I would have never made the friends that I have or been to the places that I've been to. I've gotten to experience Charleston in a whole new way. I've gotten to go to St. Louis. I've gotten to cross the Mississippi, something that people will never have the opportunity to do. I've gotten to go to Chicago and experience big city life coming from a rural place. And who knows what else I'll get to do. Next year, the marching band gets to go to Macy's. I'll get to experience New York for the very first time. And not only have these things been good for my health, both mental and physical health, but they've also been fun and new and exciting, and I'm so thankful for these experiences. But coming from these experiences, I can relate them right back to music, and they help me further my practice and my musicianship. It's easy to find music everywhere, even in the things you wouldn't normally associate with music. Hiking and camping are examples of being creative and trying new things and finding ways to defy the odds, and that can relate to music. When I get a new piece, I look at it broadly and try to think, okay, how can I approach this creatively and approach it in a different way that no other musician has approached it. Things like reading introduce me to new ways to think about the things that I'm experiencing in the real world. And real world experiences relate to music every day. A piece of music is not created without someone going through something, someone experiencing something new, or someone falling in love with a concept. The one thing I didn't talk about, but we all have on our minds, are our pets, dogs and cats and animals. And animals are reminders that I need to de-stress and relax. Reminders that I can only improve once I've cleared my mind and started over. So I'll end with this one question. Should you be practicing?